Do you know what can happen if you let your credit card out of sight? Well, we're going to give you some startling facts about credit card ripoffs. We'll also reveal an important but little-known automobile hazard. And we're going to challenge a well-known film commercial. We're going to have all this and more on Fight Back. Hi, I'm David Horowitz. Thank you for being with us. And we have some super things to do. I don't know about you, but whenever I take pictures, they never seem to come out as good as the ones that you see on the television film commercials. Have you ever wondered how film advertisers get such wonderful results? Well, we did, especially after seeing this commercial.
With Fujifilm, seeing is believing. Take a roll of Fujifilm. Shoot a face you know close up. Does the photograph match the real thing? It should. Fuji's remarkable color balance means you don't get too much of one color and not enough of another. So with Fuji, what you shoot is what you get. If a color film can pass this close-up test, anything else is a snap. Fujifilm, seeing is believing.
You have to admit those are beautiful pictures. We decided that a Fight Back challenge was in order. So what we did is we went out and we bought some Fujifilm, and we went out to take some pictures of our own. I first took a picture of producer Lloyd Thaxton. Okay, Lloyd. Now what I want you to do is just tilt your head back a little bit. You ready? Now don't clutch up. All right, there you go. Ready? One, let's see a nice smile. Here we go. One more. Aha, we got it. Okay, then Lloyd took a picture of me.
Okay, David, take your glasses off.
You want the glasses off?
Glasses off.
Okay, how about this?
All right, here we go. Okay, that's great.
We also photographed this young man, Mark Blowers. Let's have a big smile. There you go. That's great. Okay, we got it. We wanted 11 by 14-inch prints, so we took our 3 negatives to a film processing lab, the kind that any amateur photographer would use. It's a fascinating automated place where all the processing is done by a machine that develops and places the picture through all sorts of chemical solutions, and then it comes out the other end as a finished product. The machine makes some slight color corrections, but basically the picture that you shoot is what you get. Well, we have our pictures. Now I want to ask a member of our studio audience if they've had any experience with Fujifilm. Have you, sir?
Yes, I have. Good results and bad results on Fujifilm.
What's your name?
Richard Cruz.
All right, Richard, how do you think our test is going to come out?
You have a 50-50 chance.
Well, you couldn't ask for anything better than that. And we're going to find out exactly how our commercial challenge works out after this break.
Hello, everybody. How is it going tonight? Tonight is our 80s reality TV night. My name is Natalie from my so-called Gen X life, and I'm joined tonight by Steve. How's it going, Steve?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Right on, right on. Well, just so you guys know, I have been given permission tonight to watch any and all episodes of Fight Back that I wish to watch. With no copyright claims. So I'm excited about that. I want to thank Amanda Horowitz, David's daughter, for setting this up for me. She introduced me to Steve, and that's why he is here tonight. If you guys have any questions for him about Fight Back or David Horowitz, please put them in the chat if you want priority. The priority comes from members and from super chats. So tonight we're just going to watch a few clips and episodes of different 80s reality shows. And tonight we're going to start off with Fight Back. So Steve, thank you so much for coming tonight. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm sorry about the 2-hour delay, but a
All right.
storm came out of nowhere and then it disappeared really quick. So we got through it okay.
I was gonna say I don't know where you are. I'm over in New Jersey.
Oh, you're in New Jersey. I'm in
And
Missouri, just south of St. Louis. So I'm
the
right
Show
in
Me State.
Tornado Alley. Yep, I'm in the Show Me State. Yep, right in the middle of Tornado Alley. So that was fun.
We've had thunderstorms all day. So
Yeah, okay, got it. Yep, that's how we roll here in the Midwest during the spring. So it is what it is. But anyway, so I just played the most recent episode of Fight Back that was posted on the Watch Fight Back channel. If you guys are not familiar with it, I definitely would like you to check it out. Their handle is on the bottom of all the videos we're going to be watching. It's at Watch Fight Back, I believe. Is that correct?
yep, we're also on Facebook. We're on YouTube, Instagram. So
Right.
we're out there.
Cool. That is awesome. I am lazy. I need to get on all the platforms. I'm just on YouTube right now. It's a lot of work to get it on all those different platforms. Oh my goodness. So, why don't you give me a little rundown about how you kind of got involved in this and why you are lovingly or jokingly referred to as the Fight Back historian?
I am lovingly and jokingly at the same time referred to as the historian. Not official, but
yeah. Right on. So how did you get involved with all this?
I think as people from our generation, we've always had a favorite television program, right?
Mhm.
And most of my friends were into, let's say, He-Man or Alf, and
Right.
then you had this weirdo, 5 years old from New Jersey, who was probably acting up at one point, and his mother picked him up, plopped him in front of a TV, and said, "Here, watch this." And what do I see? I see David Horowitz testing a carpet cleaner commercial by dumping coffee onto a carpet. And I don't remember the results. I was 3,
Yeah.
but that started my lifelong love, dare we say, almost obsession with the program.
Yeah.
And I watched it from the time I was a toddler and could understand the program till when it went off the air in my market in 92. I want to say 92. I think that's when the show ceased production anyway, but 1992. And I'll tell you a funny story about this. We were supposed to get tickets for the program when I was I want to say I was 6. And I was begging and pleading my parents, let's get tickets for the show. I want to see the show in person. My father, who had family in California, finally caves, sends away for the tickets, orders the airfare. A week before we were supposed to leave, I came down with pneumonia.
Oh no.
And we never went.
Oh, that
Thank
hurt.
goodness for travel insurance, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that sucks.
And
What a
then,
disappointment.
yeah. And, the show goes off the air. There isn't internet at that time. And, it's the early 90s. Nobody's thinking anything of this.
Right.
I'm in college. The internet, was a thing by that point, 97, 98, somewhere around there.
Sounds like we're the same age.
Yeah. And he had just started, David Horowitz had just started a website, but it had been perpetually under construction for the longest time. It finally gets up. He's posting news articles. And there was a blurb on there that said, have a question, email it to me, I'll answer it, what have you.
Right.
And I had a legitimate question. I was going to take one of my first solo cruises at that time. I was 19 or 20. And I shot him a question, what to look for. And toward the end, but not what I wanted published, I had said, followed your career for a long time. You're always one of my favorites. I've always wanted a copy of the Fight Back theme song. Can you please send me one? And I'm thinking, I'm not going to send you one. Well, he responds to the email. And about a week later, I get something in the mail. It's a box with the Fight Back logo on it. And I was in my early 20s. I'm still at home.
Uh-huh.
My mother happened to go pick the mail up that day. She comes home and says, David Horowitz, what the hell are you doing writing to California to David Horowitz?
Why not?
I'm thinking, what is this? And it was a copy of the theme song that he autographed on 45.
That's amazing. It was on 45.
It was on 45. So now came the task of going out and getting a record player.
I was going to say, yeah, in the late 90s.
And of all things, I went to a thrift store and found one of those old Fisher Price turntables. If we
Nice.
really want to take it back a bit, threw it on there, and I played that record until my ears bled.
Oh my gosh, that's
But
so
then
great.
I
That's
flipped
so
it
great.
over and I said, "There's an instrumental." I'm like, I didn't know there was a B-side to this.
Right.
And there was an instrumental version. It was never featured on the program. And there's a sax solo on that thing that jams. And who knows? Maybe at some point in life down the road, maybe we'll hear it. Who knows? Anything.
Yeah. You should upload that if you still have the 45.
Listen, any upload, that's not on me. That's on our founder.
Oh, gotcha. Right on. Well, that's awesome. So,
but that, I will tell you that message that I sent a couple of years later, he had a message board on his Fight Back website.
mhm.
And I answered, I don't know, I posted something on there and he responded back. And long story short, he ends up sending me a box of Fight Back memorabilia. There were keychains. There was an autographed 8x10. There was some other stuff. And just, it was great. And, I chatted with him, I think, a little bit through email for a day or two. And years later, one of the things he had sent me was a Fight Back keychain. It was in the shape of a boxing glove.
Years later.
Nice.
And it was falling apart. So I emailed them. That's all right. I emailed them through the website and I said, listen, you sent me this great keychain. It's falling apart. You have any more? I want to buy one to replace the one that's falling apart.
Right.
What I did not realize was that I sent it through my work email address that had my work phone number on it.
Oops.
Well, but B, he had at the time an online radio program through satellite AM radio.
Oh.
And the production assistant of the radio program called me at work and said, I have an idea. Why don't you come on the show and ask David your question yourself?
Oh,
Now, first of all, I'm thinking back, as 3-year-old me, this is my dream come true. As 27-year-old me, here's me going, I hope I don't make an ass out of myself in front of thousands of people.
Right.
So I said to her, I'm like, well, does he know you're setting this up? Oh, it was his idea. Oh, okay.
Pressure.
Yeah, right. So the day comes, I'm on the radio program. I ask about the keychain. We start chatting. What I believe should have been maybe a couple of minutes, if that, turned into a 45-minute segment of the two of us just talking back and forth about his career, the show. It was the neatest thing. The segment comes to a close. The radio, or his production assistant, hops back on the radio. And she said to me, that was awesome. And I said, I feel bad. I didn't expect it to go that long. And she said, he's the one that kept saying, keep it going. I'm like,
right, yeah.
Okay. Sends me a nice little package in the mail, a Fight Back mouse pad that I still have somewhere, a couple other tchotchkes. And we then talked off and on, either through email or over the phone for, a few years. Just a really great guy. They say never meet your heroes.
Right.
And this was not the case with him. Funny, completely unencumbered by show business, no pretense, no airs.
Nice.
What you saw on TV, the personality you saw on TV was him.
Nice. That's so cool to hear.
Dude.
That's
And,
so cool to hear.
That's how I became connected over the years with Amanda through social media.
Yeah.
And, when she had said, hey, I'm looking to do this Fight Back channel and what have you. And, how would like to, contribute? I'm like, yeah, why not? Here I am.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you, this has been a dream come true. I love it.
Oh, that's so great. Now, he passed away when?
February of 2019.
February of 2019. Right on. But he had an amazing career. I mean,
Absolutely.
I mean, not just Fight Back, but his work in LA and the news there. And then he made appearances in like a lot of our favorite shows growing up.
Silver
I think I
Spoons?
remember Silver Spoons. Yeah,
Silver Spoons.
absolutely.
Oh, the Hot Shot. Hot Shot was the name of that episode.
Oh, I wonder if I can find it. Have you? I should have got a copy ready.
It's on one of the streaming networks.
Is it?
Yeah.
Come on, I'll have to see if I can find that out. See if I can find it while we're talking here. Cool. Well, let's watch the continuation of the episode that we started with.
Sure.
And we'll kind of go from there. And if you want me to stop, tell me to stop, and we can talk about if there's something that pops into your head that you want to say or talk about, let me know. And we're
Absolutely.
going to watch a little bit of this, all right?
Let's roll.
Now, in case you've just joined us, we're going to challenge the Fujifilm commercial. It claims their color print film takes pictures that are so true to life that you'd mistake them for the real thing. Now, we've taken some pictures of our own. We had them developed, and it is now time for the Fight Back Commercial Challenge. Here we have the comparison from the commercial. Does ours stack up? Here's the commercial again. And here's ours. One more time. The commercial, our challenge.
Not bad.
Now, here are our pictures. Do you think they're as good as the ones that you just saw in the commercial?
I don't.
Do you?
Nope.
Boy, that's a mixed reaction. Well, they're really not bad, but they're not as good as the ones on the commercial. But there's a reason for this. Fuji Photo Film in New York City told us their pictures for their commercial were taken by none other than the world-famous fashion photographer Richard Avedon under ideal studio conditions. And did Fuji take their photos down to the corner drugstore to get them developed like most of us do? Of course not. They used a highly technical and very expensive process known as a dye transfer. What's the difference between a dye transfer print and the kind of print that we used?
The difference between a dye transfer print and an inexpensive C print, let's say, is that the paper prints bought from a drugstore or a 1-hour photo service have all the colors built in, and all you do is expose it and process it, and up comes a print. The controls are fairly limited. A dye transfer print has infinite controls. By the proper choice of filtration and masking, which makes one color pop up more than another, or all of them if necessary. And we can make the print fit the range that the human eye can adjust to and see.
It makes me so sad that we don't take pictures anymore, that everything's digital.
Yep.
I miss this stuff so bad.
The photomat, the little kiosks in the parking lot.
Absolutely. That was a good job back in the 80s, working at one of those, or 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was the good stuff. That was great. Everybody's saying that this was the wrong Fight Back theme song, so we need to find the right one so everybody can listen to it.
So I will chime in on that. So the theme song they're talking about, this particular theme was used from the first season, which started September 1980, and it was replaced in the beginning with the vocal theme that everybody knows and loves with the 85-86 season.
Gotcha.
But here's a little tidbit that many people might not know, and this is where the unofficial historian comes into play.
Yeah.
There were two versions of it.
Oh.
So the first version of it with female backup singers was used during the 85-86 and 86-87 themes seasons.
Okay.
It was re-recorded ever so slightly with male backup singers, and the pacing was a touch slower, starting with the 87-88 season all the way until the very end.
I had no idea that they changed it like that.
I didn't know it either until I was listening to a side by side and said something sounds off.
Yeah, something's wrong. Well, let's get the one that everybody seems to remember here.
There we go.
All right.
Helicopter at 1,500.
Hold on.
We're going to drop a Sears trash can from a helicopter at
Somebody
1,500
writes that
feet
they liked the
to see
original
how
theme
strong
song.
it is.
So did I.
So you have to take, yeah. It's
I
a
liked
good
it
one.
too. I liked it too.
Yeah.
Is on.
Fight back, don't let anyone push push you around. Fight back, stand up and hold your ground. Fight back, someone tries to do you in. Fight back, show them that they just can't win.
Sears claims its 10-plus trash can was dropped from a helicopter at 1,500 feet and didn't even crack when it hit the ground. We'll fly and try out that one. I'll show you how.
All right, we're gonna watch this episode here, but I got to get to some super chats that I got here.
Alrighty.
All right. Oh, first off, we got a gifted membership from Chow Young Cat. Thank you so very, very much. He's been a member for 4 months. I love Fight Back with David Horowitz with a little boxing glove emoji. I love that. Next up, Jessica Lee for $20. Hi, Matt. Sorry, can't stay. Early start tomorrow. Have a great stream. Sounds like a good one. And did I miss the 80s cartoon theme tier list? No, you did not. We are doing our tier list for all of our 80s TV theme songs on Tuesday nights. And we're going to keep doing them on Tuesday nights until we get through all of them. So you haven't missed it. Just check it on Tuesday nights, and we're going to get around to the cartoons. That's going to be a fun one. I also got to add in reality shows or news shows or things like this so we can get Fight Back on there and People's Court and all those good theme songs for shows that weren't scripted. So Tuesday nights. Thank you, Jessica. I really, really appreciate it. Brian Henniger, $1.99. Hey, Natalie, how's your weather? Was worried. Oh, no. We're fine. It came in and it just hit us so hard, and then like 30 minutes later, it was gone. Like, it came out of nowhere. And we had all of this, like, yellow, scary stuff on the radar, and then all of a sudden, it was gone. So we made it through. All is well. Everybody's safe. I just had to push back the stream for a couple of hours just in case we were going to lose power because it was flashing there for a minute. So anyways, all is well. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Really appreciate it. All righty. So I say we watch this episode where we see the trash can fall from the helicopter.
All right.
All right.
Stores may be programming hidden messages for people to hear in their background music. Are these subliminal messages violating your right to know? I'll have some answers. Fruits and vegetables are waxed to keep them fresh and shiny. But is the wax safe to eat? You'll find out on. Thank you. Do we have excitement for you? We're going to start off our show by trying to dispose of a 10-plus trash can like this one.
I'm telling you, I have issues with copyright all the time. It's just nonstop. You would think that shows that are 40 or 50 years old wouldn't be so, on top of that, but they are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I really want to thank Amanda tonight for letting us use all of these clips without any issues.
Absolutely.
So,
She's super.
Yes, she is great.
One. Mr. and Mrs. R. David Ayers, who live in Chico, California, explain why. Here's a quote from their letter. Recently, my wife and I were looking through the Sears catalog. We came across this ad for a trash can. It says the trash can was filled with 25 pounds of sand, dropped 1,500 feet from a helicopter, and it didn't even crack. Do you believe that? Well, I question it, and both my wife and I would like to see you challenge that ad. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Ayers, this is the kind of challenge that we really just love to do. To help get our challenge off the ground, a special helicopter was flown in by pilot Larry Kirsch and his assistant Debbie Davidson. Pilot Bob Petty and cameraman Dane Adams were waiting overhead in our helicopter. We prepared our 10-plus trash can by first loading it with a required 25 pounds. We used a 25-pound bag of kitty litter just to assure accuracy of weight. Kitty litter is something you might find in a trash can anyway. Sears told us to make sure we carefully secured the top of the can. After using the existing lock straps built into the trash can, Sears advised us to use heavy-duty tape to keep the top from possibly flying off. That's a strong possibility. when it hits the ground from 1,500 feet up.
Before we show what happens, I want the chat to let me know, what do you think is going to happen in this test?
Oh yeah,
It's going to survive.
let's take an audience poll.
Yeah.
Just like David used to do. Let's do an audience poll.
Absolutely. So let me know if you think that when this thing gets dropped from a helicopter that it's going to survive, or if it's going to crunch.
Well, we got what, Vector K, who said it's going to crunch.
Yep.
And
Robert says he thinks it survives. Chow Young Cat says it's going to split. Brian Henniger says duct tape is like the Force. It has a light side and a dark side. It binds the universe together.
Didn't Mythbusters do something where they duct taped the car they cut in half?
I think so.
Yeah.
Somebody even said this is almost like a prototype Mythbusters test.
You know, if you think about it, a lot of ways it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Fight back walked so Mythbusters could run in some ways.
I like it. All right. Now they claim
cat will crawl out.
A cat will crawl out.
No.
No.
No, Fight Back's a family show. Come on now.
Now they say that there's not going to be any damage whatsoever, right? That was the claim, that it would survive this.
Would survive the fall.
Scratch.
Wouldn't break open.
All right. Darth Ken says, I say like Nestle, it's going to crunch. All right.
Now I'm craving chocolate.
All right. Nice. All right. Let's see what happens.
We followed the instructions carefully, and we were ready to go. Larry tied the can to the helicopter very carefully, using a special rigging of his own. Debbie will cut it loose. Everything was double-checked for safety. Seatbelts were fastened. It was time to start our challenge. On the ground and in the air, our crews were ready for action. The drop was about to begin.
I'm sorry, but standing on the edge of a helicopter with a camera like that, it's the scariest thing I've seen in a while.
Uh-huh.
No way I would do that.
And if you think about it, they had two helicopters going.
Well, yeah, that's true. They had to have one for the cameras.
They had one with the camera crew and one cutting the string for the garbage can.
Yeah, wow.
Talk about no expense being spared.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say there's actually, I guess if we can squeeze it in, one or two funny challenges I'll share.
Okay.
They're hidden off in the archives. I'm not going to spoil them, but I'll give you an idea what they were about.
Right on. Just for those of you that are joining us just now, we are going over Fight Back with David Horowitz from the 80s. It was a very popular consumer affairs show, I guess you would call it. If you didn't watch it or don't remember it, David Horowitz, he was a consumer safety reporter, I believe, in LA. Is that?
He started off as a straight news reporter.
Okay.
And worked his way into a consumer ombudsman.
Gotcha.
Type.
I like that word.
Role.
Ombudsman. I like it. So he had this show where he would test different products, or people would write in and ask, is this ad claiming, is this truth in this advertising, or are they lying? And he would test out products, and he would look at advertisements and test them out himself and say this is true or this is not true. And it became very, very popular. It ran from 1980 to 1992, something along those lines.
Well, actually, the show got its start as a local program on KNBC TV in Los Angeles.
Gotcha.
In 1976, called California Byline.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
California Byline.
Cool.
It changed its name March of 1977 to Consumer Byline in anticipation of a national syndication, which happened January of 78.
Okay.
The pilot, which was aired as part of the Consumer Byline run to Fight Back, was aired February 80, and the name change took place official September 1980.
Oh, gotcha. That is cool. Thank you for that. And a lot of you might remember there was a very famous incident on the news involving David Horowitz, and we will get to that in just a second after we watch these episodes. But I can't talk about him and his career without bringing up that that notorious moment that I think probably went viral recently on TikTok because I think Amanda posted it, and people that remember it were like, "Oh my god!" People that don't were like, "What?" So so we'll get to it, but we're gonna watch this test.
The question is, will this Sears trash can really survive a fall from 1,500 feet? We're about to find out. We're just going to have to wait a few more minutes to find out what happened. But in the meantime, let's conduct our own little audience poll to find out what you think. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is Susan Wong. I came from California.
All right, what do you think, Susan?
I think it will be cracked.
You think it's going to crack?
Yeah.
Interesting. How about you? What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Denise O'Brien from San Jose, California.
All right, Denise. What do you think is going to happen to the can?
I think it's going to crack.
We're leading some kind of an interesting poll here. What about you? Your name and where you're from?
My name is Sarah Linda Subiano. I'm from Huntington Beach, and I think it's going to break.
It's going to break. Let's go to this gentleman down front.
I'm Charles Beanblossom from Northwest Indiana.
And Charles?
I think it'll survive.
Why?
Because Sears has good products.
Do you work for Sears?
No.
Okay. Just
Do they even have Sears anymore? I don't think they do.
There might be 3 left in the whole U.S. I think.
Yeah.
I think there's 1 Kmart left.
Yeah, I know. All of those stores are going by the wayside.
Yep.
All right, let's see what
I
happens.
wanted to make sure. Now, we have spared no expense. We don't have 1 helicopter. We have 2 helicopters, 1 to drop it and 1 to watch it, as we challenge the Sears ad claim that its trash can will survive a drop of 1,500 feet without cracking. The Fight Back crew rushed out to see the results. And what Sears has been saying about its 10-plus trash can seems to be true. Even though it did have a few dents and bruises, it didn't have a crack in it. And here it is, and it looks like it's brand new. We did straighten it out some, but don't rush out to buy one. You might ask why? Because we've been told that even though it passed their test, Sears is discontinuing this item. The reason? It's just too expensive. Sales and research show that people don't want to spend $30 for a trash can. So you know what they're doing? They're getting rid of it. You know it survived that fall. But I wonder how it would stand up to the treatment it would get during weekly trash pickups.
Yes, this was kind of like the Mythbusters of its day, kind of a precursor to that.
Yep.
Tested all kinds of products, make sure there was truth in advertising.
Somebody commented and asked if the original theme song to the program was made in the 1970s.
Yeah.
That's something I'm trying to research. I'm trying to look at that. So the original theme was not the one that was used on Consumer Byline. They used a piece of stock music for that show from the KPM library called Mrs. Morton.
Oh, wow, you even know the name of it. That's impressive.
I do, yes. And when the show changed names to Fight Back, they had that instrumental theme that we heard in the beginning.
Right.
Which I don't know if that was written specifically for the show or if it was a stock music. But the vocal theme, the one that we all know and love, that was written for the show.
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, what do you guys think? I mean, it survived. Were you surprised? Sears fumbled that bag.
Ba-dum-bum.
I like it. Yep, $30 seems even back then.
Yeah, but try getting a decent trash can for that price now, right?
Oh, I know you can't. Like all the good ones, the trash pick that they do for the trash pickup, those are like $80 to $100 at least. Those are big deals, big expense. Oh man! All right, let's go over and see. Let's go over to this one now. Bring it up. In 1987, David Horowitz was doing a segment on, was it KNBC?
KNBC TV News. Yep.
TV News in Los Angeles, and a crazy thing happened. He was taken hostage live at gunpoint. Here's what happened.
Kelly Lang, Fritz Coleman Weather, Fred Rogan Sports, Jess Marble Cover Story, and David Sheehan Entertainment. Channel 4 News, Nightside, #1 at 11.
Good evening. It has been quite a day here at Channel 4, and tonight security is being beefed up at KNBC after a gunman walked into our news studio right here this afternoon and on live television at gunpoint ordered consumer reporter David Horowitz to read a message live on television. Nobody was hurt. That gunman is in police custody tonight. And Jess's cover story takes a look at what hundreds of thousands of shocked Channel 4 news viewers watched on television on the 4 o'clock news. Jess?
Kelly? The man who had been permitted to watch the broadcast in the studio had given no indication of his intent. He had been sitting quietly until David Horowitz was ready to begin broadcasting his consumer segment.
Because, one of the nicest things about shopping by mail order... Pardon me? What is this? Let me see what it says. All right. All right, well, let me read this. Folks, we have someone on the set who's standing here and would like me to read this copy which was just handed to me. You want to tell me your name or not? What is it? And Gary, where are you from?
At that point, the control room was ordered to go to black, kill the studio mics, and put up a standby slide. But Horowitz continued to read, and the gunman kept the gun in his back.
I was warned in 1981 by someone with connections at the CIA to stay off the computers, that they didn't trust people on computers. When I began receiving disturbing calls from my parents, which led me to believe that something terrible was going on, I was then forced into a mental hospital in Tallahassee, where I learned that my brother-in-law had been driven insane in the same manner that someone was trying to do to me.
The gun was a precise replica, and police, who by then had entered the facilities, made plans to deal with the situation. But when the statement had been read, the gunman placed the gun on the desk, and anchorman John Beard grabbed it. Burbank police wrestled the man to the floor. He has been identified as Gary Stolman, and he said he never intended to harm anyone. Indeed, the gun proved a fake. But Stolman may still face a variety of charges. He is the son of pharmacist Max Stolman, a former member of the Channel 4 news team reporting on medicine and related issues. Max Stolman said, "I do have a sick son. He has been hospitalized a number of times. I am thankful he wasn't killed." At a news conference this evening, Horowitz, who appeared to maintain his calm throughout the ordeal, acknowledged his fair share of anxiety.
And I've covered enough hostage situations, and I've been in Vietnam, and I know that when someone points a gun at you, you do what they tell you to do and hope that someone's going to save you. You're thinking about your wife and your kids and your family, and you say, what am I doing here? Why is this happening to me? And you just try to maintain as much cool as you possibly can, because I realize that if you do anything out of course, as far as this person's concerned, I don't know whether the guy was a terrorist or a wacko or somebody that was trying to get even for something. You don't know who's there.
News director Tom Capra explained his order to pull the plug.
Is that we cannot allow people with guns or weapons of any kind to take a television station hostage. So the first thing you do is go to black, and kill the mics to make sure that the message, whatever it is, never gets out.
Co-anchors John Beard and Kirsty Wilde sat through the ordeal, Kirsty worrying that she had okayed Stolman getting into the studio.
He called me to get in. You can't just walk in here. He called me and said that he was Max Stolman's son and he lived in the East and that he had never had the opportunity to see his dad while he was on our air, and could he come down and watch the show?
He had a pass. I noticed the pass on his chest, and nobody noticed anything out of the ordinary until David is on. He's standing behind David, and at first we thought it was just someone who was mixed up, confused, didn't realize he was in the way.
Once the crisis had ended, there was time for reflection and concern for Max Stolman, the gunman's father.
Max is a terrific
Max
guy.
is just one of the nicest people in the entire world.
Absolutely.
And it is awful that this should happen to anyone connected with Max. He's just, and you know, we love him.
Gary Stolman remains in custody. Charges may await a psychiatric evaluation. No one was injured, as Kelly indicated, and the principals involved are tonight regaining their composure. Security has been tightened to the extent no one is permitted in the studios without a permanent pass.
All righty, there we go. So do you know anything about that situation, or is your knowledge with Fight Back?
So, you know, I do have a little bit of knowledge. You know, a lot of it, you know, obviously I'll demur to Amanda. I think that's her story.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's something that, you know, when the time is right, you know, I'm sure she'll share on that.
Sure.
But one of the things that we've seen come up a lot on the channel is that there are people who think that this was fake. That this was, I know, that this was staged. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And, you know, to reiterate, this was not fake. This happened. And not only did this happen, a lot of people figure, well, David Horowitz, you know, he was, you know, local to Los Angeles, you know, Fight Back was a syndicated program. So, you know, there were parts of the U.S. it wasn't seen.
Sure.
But I will tell you, that incident went national. That incident went international. We found a newspaper article where it made it out to Ireland.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So, yeah, it became a global news. I mean, you know, it's not every day that you see someone, you know, hold a news anchor at gunpoint on live television.
Yeah.
So, but I can kind of see maybe like if you weren't alive back then. So, like if viewers are watching this now, if they're like younger in their teens or 20s, thinking it's fake because of all of the fake stuff that you see nowadays. Yep. So it's hard to tell what's real and what's not. But yeah, that was 100% real and it actually happened.
Yeah.
So I did not know that he was the son of somebody that worked there. Somebody had heard that.
Yeah. And, you know, the one thing that, you know, I look at when I watch that video, you know, the composure that you saw on camera. I mean, of course, a lot of that is, you know, when somebody points a gun to you, you do what they say. You don't want to get shot.
Right.
But when you saw how he handled that situation, it makes you admire him that much more.
Agreed.
You know, what do they say? Grace under fire?
Yep.
Calm under pressure. And you look at that, it's like, wow. You know, and this is why he was as loved of a broadcaster, as a presenter as he was.
Right.
Because, you know, he was an earnest guy. He was a good dude. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I wonder if I know that we have the clip of him on a Tonight Show appearance. I wonder if I could play that without getting in trouble, since it's the Tonight Show. I get scared of anything NBC. But I'd love to watch him on Carson for a bit. It's on Amanda's channel, so maybe, I don't know. Maybe I can.
The one where with the pasta machine? Is that the one you're talking?
Yeah, I think that's the one that it is.
I think she has the okay for that because that's on her channel.
Okay. Well, then let's watch that one then.
And if this is the one I'm thinking, this shows him at probably what I think is his funniest.
Okay. Set just brings back so many memories. This was my childhood.
Now, 2 fun facts. So this is from August 1984.
Okay.
And that little intro blurb when he walked out was a cut from the original theme song of the show from the 80s when he walked out. Well, you're going to see something very funny at the end of this clip, and I'll share a little information with you, just a little bit. But
all right, let's watch.
Yep.
Oh my
Yep.
This is too much. I gotta pause it just in case. I don't want the algorithm to
Sure.
test that, find out that we're watching this and then pull us off the air. So I'm gonna pause a little bit, but that's hilarious. Carson was, oh God, what's gonna happen?
You'll see.
Okay.
What? You'll see.
Good deal. I'm glad Blazin is back. Real quick, I accidentally put Blazin in timeout. I do apologize. I pushed the wrong button. So I'm so sorry, Blazin. I still love you. Please come back. All right. I had to say that. All right, here we go. Carson looks really annoyed right now.
Yeah, it was all in good fun.
I know. I'm sorry, Tetsy, if I did that to you last week. Sometimes these things go so fast that I try to push buttons and it doesn't work properly. So I'm sorry if I put you in timeout last week. All right, let's see what happens here. That was great.
That was super.
That was fun. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he was on Carson a couple of times, wasn't he?
45.
How many?
45.
45 times?
45.
I had no idea it was that many.
And I'm inclined to think, and I could be wrong, but from some of the research I've done, I'm thinking that's how he got his break. Because his first appearance was in February of 1975, before he even had a show.
Ah.
And you have to remember, at that point, he was just the local consumer reporter for KNBC.
Right.
So unless you lived in Los Angeles, nobody in, let's say, Shenango County, New York, is going to know who he is.
Right. Well, that's how he got introduced to a national audience then, Mr. Carson.
Yes, it was.
Oh, isn't that fun? Well, let's watch another couple of clips from Fight Back, and then I'm gonna we'll move on to another show. But this is fun. This is really interesting. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. Oh, I probably should bring up a video. We'll continue the one that we were watching.
All right.
We're going to send out Fight Back t-shirts to the R. David Ayers of Chico, California for sending us this challenge. We're also going to send a t-shirt to helicopter pilot Bob Petty for his fantastic help. Before we get any letters from viewers that thought that what we were doing was flying our helicopter over populated areas and causing maybe a potential hazard, I just want to say, at no time were we ever out of the designated drop zone that we were required to use by the Federal Aviation Administration. Our challenge was conducted absolutely safely, and nobody was in any danger. And now we move from helicopter, air to ground production to produce. Now I have a question to ask you. Would you buy an apple that didn't shine? What about it, audience? Or a tomato that was starting to show wear and tear? If you've noticed that some fresh fruits and vegetables seem to have a waxy coating on them, you are absolutely right. How right are you? I'm going to show you. I have my trusty knife here, and I have an apple, and I'm going to peel and just show you how much. Now, this is an apple that we did not pre-test. I just pulled it out of a box of apples, and I want to show you. Look at that. There's so much wax on this apple. You can probably put a wick on it and use it as a candle. Look at that. Can you imagine either that, if you ingest enough of this wax, what it's doing to you? Look at that. It's kind of fun shaving the apple, isn't it? Anyway, produce packers and distributors in this country have been using wax coatings on their fruits and vegetables for more than 50 years. These waxes and polishes are tasteless, odorless, and generally considered harmless. The food industry says such coatings not only make the food more appealing to the eye, they also ensure that the produce we buy is still crisp and moist when it arrives at the local supermarket. The waxes used on fresh fruits and vegetables replace the natural coatings that are stripped from the fruit when it's washed for packing. These coatings help preserve the moisture in the product and keep it from drying out and shriveling in the market. Waxing also protects the skin of the fruit from being attacked by mold spores. But the primary reason for coating fresh produce is to enhance its appearance. to put the polish on the apple or the pear and make it more appealing to the shopper. Packers, distributors, and grocers use a variety of waxes and coatings on their bulk produce. Some, like naphtha and paraffin, are petroleum-based. Some prefer natural vegetable waxes like carnauba. Beeswax is also used, as are products made from beef tallow. Shoppers, of course, have no way of knowing what sort of coating has been applied to the food they're buying. All the FDA requires is that all such waxes be on the government's GRAS list, otherwise known as generally recognized as safe.
Generally recognized as safe. Chow Young Cat, $5. Great news. You can buy a version of the time clock, the dynamite clock
Really?
on Amazon. I checked. Wow. Of course there is.
That's dedication.
It really is. Thank you so much, Chow Young Cat. I really appreciate that. That's great. You really went above and beyond on the research there. All righty. Let's see what else. We got another horror file here.
Played at very low levels behind music or flashed for a split second on a movie or TV. Signs like this telling us how much each variety of fruit and vegetable costs. They can also post a notice like this telling us which foods have been coated and with what type of wax. Do you agree, audience? And we'll be right back to fight back after this break. A controversy has been going on for some time regarding whether subliminal messages either played at very low levels behind music or flashed for a split second on a movie or TV screen really work. And if they do work, are they illegal or immoral? Well, about 2 years ago, one of our viewers, James Wong, posed this question to me.
Okay, I've been in some stores lately, and I heard some stories about things that come over the loudspeaker that come over so quickly and so quietly that you can't hear them, like don't steal and don't burglarize. And I was wondering, what is the legality of that?
We did a lot of research at that time, but couldn't come up with an answer. We just couldn't locate a store that was using it or find anyone who knew anything about it. But we kept after it, and we were just recently alerted to the fact that some stores are using subliminal messages to help stop theft. Proactive Systems, Inc. in Portland, Oregon, installs what they call the threshold message system.
What?
Now, according to Proactive, their system is being used in over 120 shops, factories, and supermarkets across the United States. When we try to find out the names of the companies using the threshold messaging system, they refuse to tell us. The companies using the system, in most cases, do not want the public to know about it. In Culver City, California,
This is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. All right, we'll watch this segment.
owners of this stationery store demonstrated their subliminal message system to us, but they would not allow our cameras inside the shop. Why? Because a store spokesman said he was a little unsure of customer reaction to the hidden messages, but he felt obligated to display this sign. Be honest, obey the law. J.K. Gill welcomes honest customers. This message is played at low volume throughout the store to reduce theft and help keep prices down. But most stores using the system do not inform their customers in any way. Some people like the idea, others do not.
I think it's a great idea. I'm for anything that cuts down on crime.
I think for anybody to have that kind of control over somebody's mind is very scary.
I'm certainly in favor of it, and I think it should be implemented throughout all shopping centers and all consumer shopping centers.
Well, in addition to thinking that it's sneaky, I don't think that it works.
The idea of subliminal messages in stores or wherever they be is a little bit creepy. As far as I'm concerned, it's kind of like Big Brother speaks.
Subliminal messages may be shocking, but they are nothing new. Many books in the last 30 years blame subliminal messages for selling the public a bill of goods and using everything from Satanism to sexploitation to get the message across. Subliminals have now taken on a more respectable place. Audio and video self-help tapes are sold which use the subliminal technique. A company called Potentials Unlimited offers both audio and video subliminal therapy. While listening to soothing music, you view calming scenes of waterfalls. Self-help messages like, "I stopped being a slave to a weed," are flashed on the screen faster than the conscious mind can comprehend, about 1/60th of a second each. And even stopped on tape, the message, "You feel better," is barely visible. The sound on these tapes play the same messages just below the listener's awareness level. But according to subliminal experts, both the audio and video messages are received by the subconscious mind, and they can help a person change. Whether subliminal messages are being used in a department store to stop theft or on a self-help tape to stop smoking, there are many people who say it's nothing more than a gimmick.
If a message is subliminally embedded in an auditory presentation and it's too soft to be heard by a listener, or if it's embedded in a visual presentation and it's not visible on the part of a perceiver, the message will not have an effect. If we are having a conversation in a room and other people are talking, I will tend to focus on the conversation that we're having. It's just about impossible for me to monitor two conversations at the same time. If I'm attending to you, it's very unlikely that I'm going to get the information from the voice in the background or the subliminal input.
Subliminal messages truly do work. Our subconscious mind never sleeps. It's always receptive. People who purchase our tapes know right up front exactly what they're getting. We feel strongly that people who go into a department store or an establishment and subliminal tapes are being played, and they are not even aware of it, that violates their personal civil right.
A message like "don't steal," embedded in the context of nice music, won't in general be perceived by people unless the "don't steal" is sufficiently intense in loudness. If it's below people's threshold for hearing, it just doesn't get heard and it doesn't get into the system.
Maybe so. But I think the most perplexing part of this story is the reluctance of the people who are using the system to let anyone know who they are. I guess it's because they feel it would be met with unfavorable publicity. But at least the store, the J.K. Gill Company, did what I feel is the right thing. They put up a sign to let you know what's going on. Now here's an example of how the subliminal message works. You might hear music like this, but if you could turn the music down and the message up, it would sound like this.
Stay honest. Stay honest. Stay honest. Obey the law. Obey the law. Obey the law. We welcome honest shoppers.
Wow, that's crazy that was happening 40 years ago.
Yep.
I guess it shouldn't be crazy, but that was really interesting. Oh my goodness. Well, I've had so much fun watching these old clips and talking about David Horowitz. This has been super cool. I really appreciate you hanging out with me tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm hoping we can do it again one day.
Absolutely. We definitely can. Real quick, let everybody know where they can find the Fight Back and all of that on socials, and tell people anything you want them to know.
Anything I want them to know? Well, we're hoping, like I said, to, build the brand up. We would love everyone's help, everyone who's watching it. Spread the word. We are on social media. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube. We also have a newsletter. If anyone's interested in looking at our newsletter, I'll get you that address in 1 second. I should have had that. Where's my
That's
attachment?
okay.
Here you go. Fightback.beehive, beehiv.com/subscribe. You can also support the Fight Back channel with a donation at buymeacoffee.com/fightback. Of course, by all means, please subscribe to the channel.
Okay. That's at Watchback.
Watch
Fight Back. I'll get
Oh.
it there. And that's the handle across all social platforms.
That's correct.
Okay.
And we're, like I said, we're looking for contributors to help us make new content. Visit us on any social media platform. We'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Steve. I really, really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Pleasure's been mine.
You have a wonderful night. We'll see you
You
again.
take good care now.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. That was so fun. Yes, Amanda and Steve are carrying on Amanda's dad's legacy through all of their social medias and things that they're doing now. So super awesome. Hold on. I wish this wouldn't move. Six String Frenzy, I'm putting you in timeout. That's bullshit that you're saying crap like that. Don't come on here and insult me or my guests, or else I will ban you from the channel. All right. So, we got some wonderful clips there for Fight Back. I really appreciate Amanda Horowitz letting me use those and not getting me in trouble with the whole copyright system. So, yay! All right. Up next, we're going to watch some, let's see, People's Court. I got to hear that wonderful intro opening theme. And while we're doing that, hold on. I got to go take a potty break. People's Court. Hold on. Where's the opening theme? All right. Bring it up. Let's do that one. All right. I'll be right back.
What you are witnessing is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in a California municipal court. Both parties have agreed to dismiss their court cases and have their dispute settled here in our forum, the People's Court.
Hello, I'm Doug Llewellyn, and welcome to the People's Court. This is the case of Love Me, Love My Cadillac. I'm Doug Llewellyn, thanking you for joining us and reminding you, if you're involved in a dispute such as this with another party and you just can't seem to work it out, don't take the law into your own hands. You take them to
Was so good. Like, there's a whole 4-minute, like, you can put this on your playlist. It just starts off, it just, what the kids say, it slaps. Hold on. You guys, yes, its origin was in adult films. This is a true story. I've added another section to my Tuesday night TV theme song tier list. I'm going to do like news and information and other type shows that weren't unscripted shows. Because this one needs to be on an S tier somewhere, and that somewhere is here on this live stream. Yes, everybody talks about Rain Man when they hear this. Gotta see Judge Wapner. Oh my God, let's see if we can find a good episode. People's Court. All right, we got a 9-year-old accused of reckless driving. Let's see what happens.
This is the plaintiff, Trudy Edwards. She claims as she was walking down the sidewalk in front of her home, the young defendant came riding towards her on his bicycle. And even though she moved out of his path, he still crashed into her, knocking her over and causing her months of unbearable pain. She's suing for $2,000 for medical bills and pain and suffering.
That really added to it with that little typing sound with their graphics, of their on-screen graphics. Suing for $2,000 because a 9-year-old recklessly drove. All right, let's find out what happens.
This is the defendant, 9-year-old Richard Mango, and his father, Mark. He says he was riding on the sidewalk as his parents have instructed when the plaintiff suddenly came out from behind a brick wall and he couldn't avoid hitting her. He's accused of reckless driving. What you are witnessing is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in a California municipal court. Both parties have agreed to dismiss their court cases and have their dispute settled here in our forum, the People's Court.
Hi, I'm Doug Llewellyn, and welcome to the People's Court. This is the case of Sidelined on the Sidewalk. Now,
that was so great. Doug always would give them nice little names. Sidelined on the sidewalk.
The plaintiff says that not only was she badly bruised, but she is also very upset that the boy's hostile parents refused to pay her medical bills. The defendant's father insists that the accident wasn't his son's fault, and besides, he doesn't believe the woman was seriously hurt and figures she just wants something for nothing. So let's find out more about this bike hits woman dispute as the litigants talk to Judge.
I'm excited to find out how this story went down and to find out how this goes.
Well,
I know that you've been sworn. I have read your complaint, ma'am. You claim that the minor defendant... You have trouble hearing?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to hear what I said?
Ooh. Yeah, I'm trying.
Hearing aid problems. Technical difficulties.
Go ahead.
Look,
I'm sorry.
it's all right. I want to be sure you hear me.
Okay.
My wife says that when I shout like this, I look angry. She doesn't want me to look angry. So
nobody does.
Nobody does what? Like to look angry?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You say he knocked you down on his bike?
He sure did.
Okay, where were you?
I was in front of my home. I came down off the porch.
Where is that?
It's in Anaheim, California.
You came off the porch.
And I walked down the sidewalk.
Down the sidewalk?
Yeah, there's a sidewalk in front of my house, and then there's a sidewalk on. Could I show you the chart?
Sure.
Honor?
That can't be true, Brian Henniger. I don't believe you. Are you sure about that? If so, that's insane and hilarious.
This is your house?
Yes, sir.
We've got charts.
You walk where? Down?
That's the step there, and then I turn right.
Turn right, went down this way?
Yes.
And where was he? Where was the boy on the bike coming from? Coming from the other direction over here?
Yes, I was coming this way. You know, I came out of the house, and I turned this way, and he was coming this way.
Okay.
And I
How wide is that sidewalk?
that's the only thing I didn't measure, Your Honor. I measured the length. The
Yeah.
sidewalk, I think, is 36 inches.
Okay.
And
how far did you walk before he struck you?
well, it was 7 feet from the end of the block fence. On the diagram there, you can see it.
Well, you walked approximately 8 feet before he hit you?
Yes.
Did you see him coming?
I saw him, and
Did you shout?
No.
What kind of a bike was he riding?
It's just a boy's bicycle.
I know. Was it a two-wheeler?
Yes, sir. And when I saw
Did he
him,
appear to be looking in your direction?
I think he was.
What time of day or night was this?
It was 10 minutes after 12 on Sunday.
Boy, she had that detail ready to go, didn't she? Didn't know how wide the sidewalk was, but she knew the moment. Yeah, it could have been a tricycle, I guess. He does. But yeah, it could. Well, where did that go? It, I guess, technically could have been a tricycle, but he's 9, so it wouldn't have been. Yes. That's a great. I like that. Let's do it. I wish we could do that. He was riding a unicycle.
And when
12 noon?
12 noon, sir.
And what?
And when I saw him coming, I was already next to the curb there, walking on the inside of the sidewalk. And when I saw
Not
him...
the curb, then.
I'm sorry, sir. I was walking on the inside of the sidewalk. And then when I saw him coming at me, I thought he was going to go around me, which is a normal assumption. And so then I realized that he was coming at me. I put one foot back, on the grass. And the next thing I knew, he hit me.
Richard?
Yes, Your Honor.
How old are you?
9.
When are you going to be 10?
And July 5th.
How long have you been riding a bike?
I started riding a two-wheeler when I was about 6.
I think I'm going to have to raise my voice because I wanted to talk more softly to you than I did to her, but I just realized if I do that, she won't be able to hear me. So if I shout, you'll understand, won't you?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I want to show you this diagram. You look at it.
Gen Xer in court at 9 years old. This lady, I have a feeling, she's being a way bit of a Karen.
At it. Do you live in the area?
Well, not really.
We live about 3 or 4 blocks away.
Well, that's what I mean by the area. She says that you were coming down the sidewalk on your bike.
Yes.
And she was walking toward you. Did you see her?
Well, no. When she was walking, right then when she turned, I hit her.
When she turned?
Yes, she walked out, then she turned, and then I hit her.
Can you tell from that diagram where she walked out from?
Yes.
Rusty, would you note that, please?
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
I have a few photographs that are...
It sounds to me like this kid was riding his bike on the sidewalk. This lady walked out there, didn't see him, and walked into him. That's what it sounds like.
a little more simpler that he understands.
Okay.
Photographs of that area?
Yes.
Well, she
Let me
was
see.
walking here,
Okay.
and then I was coming here, and she turned. Well, I was right here, and she turned, and I hit her, and I didn't have
Where, right here?
Yeah, she was right there,
Okay.
and I was right here at the time.
Okay, when you saw her,
I was
but you
right
hit her
there.
right here.
I was right there.
Okay.
Richard, can you estimate for me how far away she was from the front of your bike when you first saw her? In other words, was it this far?
Pedestrians do have the right of way, but it sounds like it was like a last minute thing. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like she kind of came out in front of them. I could be wrong. I wish we had a big board instead of this. I mean, this drawing is really nice, but I need a big board for them to like explain it a little bit better.
Or this far or this far? Can you show me?
Well, it was about like this far.
Stop where you think it was. Don't just keep going.
Right here.
Okay. It's about 2 feet, I would say, 2.5 feet maybe.
Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
When he knocked me down, I fell real hard, and his bike went over, and he landed on the grass. And while I'm still laying there, he got up, picked up his bike like he was going to leave. And I said, well, aren't you going to help me? And he said, well, yes, I'll go get somebody and come back.
Did he come back?
He come back about 10 minutes, well, approximately 10 minutes later.
With someone to help you?
With a lady, yes. Her statement is in there.
Okay. Were you on the grass or on the sidewalk the whole 10 minutes?
I was on the concrete, yes.
Until he came back?
Well, no, not exactly. I was on the concrete, and he left, and I laid there for a few minutes, and I was dazed yet. And I finally got up, and I went over, and my motorhome was at the curb there, and it was several feet back. Well, I don't know how many feet. And the door was open to the motorhome, so I went over there and sat down because, I was weak.
Okay.
And that's where the neighbor, our neighbor, came over to where I was sitting on the step.
Richard?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you...
How do we think Judge Wapner is going to rule on this? I'm very intrigued. I think that this is being blown out of proportion. It sounds like it was just a happy accident, like it wasn't intentional on anybody's part, and this old lady is terrifying this child.
See her at all before she turned the corner to start walking? Did you see her at all?
No.
And you're sure you were only about 3 feet away from her before you hit her?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Thank you. Take a short recess. I'll come back and give you my decision.
Remain seated and come to order. This court is again in session.
These cases are very difficult because we have to determine who's at fault, really who's negligent. Sometimes there's contributory negligence. Both parties are at fault. Bicycles are subject to the same rules of the road as automobiles, except, of course, automobiles don't go on sidewalks. And that's why there are some jurisdictions in Southern California that don't even allow bicycles on sidewalks. There's nothing that I can find about Anaheim. The only thing I can find is that the general rule that pedestrians have the right of way over bicycles, and which means, in effect, they really have to be more careful when going on a sidewalk than pedestrians are, because pedestrians are always there walking, and bicycles should watch out for pedestrians more than pedestrians should watch out for bicycles. So I think he was negligent. The question is, was the plaintiff guilty of contributory negligence? I don't find any. She walked out of her door, she turned to the right, she says she took 7 steps or went up 7 feet, and that's when he hit her. There certainly was plenty of space for him to avoid her. Why he ran into her, I don't know. Unless he was driving along, looked at that block wall, and didn't see her in time.
Is he going to make this kid pay $2,000 to this lady? I mean, in 1980s money, I mean, if we did it, for inflation, that's got to be like 10 grand now, right?
To avoid. You were only 8 years old at the time, and you made a mistake. That doesn't mean you're a bad boy. I think you're a good young man. I think you've got a lot of promise. I think you're very bright. You're very respectful. And I like the way you handled yourself here. But you were negligent, in my opinion.
He's not!
And therefore, there has to be a judgment against you. And the amount that you're suing for, I think, is a reasonable amount. So the judgment is not going to be against the parent, because the parent's not responsible for the negligence of the child. Judgment is against the young man. $2,000.
So Judge Wapner finds for the plaintiff in this case, Richie Mango and his dad are on their way out of the court.
Oh my God. Let's see how Doug handles this one. Jesus, I did not see this coming at all.
Richie, let me ask you, how did you How do you feel about what Judge Wapner just had to say to you? He said some very nice things.
Well, I like what he said.
Except the part where he said she prevails for $2,000. You didn't like that, did you?
No, I didn't.
No, I'm not surprised there. But in any event, do you think you've learned anything from this experience? Do you think you could have been a little negligent driving that bike?
Well, yes, because if there's a wall like that, I guess I should have stopped and looked.
So you've learned something then. Well, that's good. I just wanted to ask you, did you feel that you really should offer to have paid her medical bills?
I just, from the story that Richie told me after the accident, I just didn't feel that, we could have done that much harm. He's not a very reckless rider, and, with the conditions of the wall and everything, I believe that he didn't see her until she was right up on him. And, it was a little late for an 8-year-old to react and push the brakes back and everything. And, I think it was negligence on both parts. But
Well, now that you've heard the judge's decision, how do you feel about it?
Well, right now the sidewalk with a bicycle is illegal, but, as a parent, any parent with children would rather them right on the sidewalk than on the street. And, so.
And look what happened.
I didn't realize that there was a fund like that. Then that's how the things were paid out. I honestly did not realize that. Interesting. I'm learning something today. I'm going to let Doug Llewellyn talk to this crotchety old lady, and
Well, if
I got to go get my dog out. Hold on. I'll be right back.
she was hurt, we're sorry for it. So.
Okay. Thank you very much. Officer Burrell has some documents she must sign. Now the plaintiff is on her way out of the courtroom. Ms. Edwards, if you'd step out, please.
Yes.
How do you feel about Judge Wapner's decision?
I'm sorry about the boy. I am. He's a nice little boy.
It does seem like a very nice young man.
Yes, very. But I had 6 months of pain, 4 months when I had scabs, infected scabs in my legs, and I'm just sorry the whole thing happened.
I bet you'll look more carefully, too, when you go to walk out, won't you?
You better believe it.
All right. Thank you very much. Officer Burrell is waiting for you, and that will bring this case to a close. The
Wow. Wow. I did not expect that at all. That was fun. Yeah, I didn't realize that the show paid for it, but I guess that's good. Man. Wapner gives 0 fucks. There was one People's Court episode over like a slice of pizza. Let's see. Oh, we got one. We have a People's Court marijuana case. Hold on. Let's watch this one real quick.
His girlfriend asked him to join them at the last minute, and he unknowingly grabbed a shirt which had the marijuana he uses for medicinal purposes in its pocket. Bottom line, it wasn't his car, and he wasn't driving. He's accused of causing a border incident. We'll return for the case of the buddies who got busted at the border after these messages.
This is the case of the buddies who got busted at the border. Now, according to the plaintiff, he was horrified by what he calls the defendant's utter stupidity.
Hold on. I gotta smoke some weed while we're watching this. Gotta take out my trusty Tyson double dank indica while you watch this amazing case. I'm excited.
However, according to the defendant, he had no idea that the pot, which he used to relieve pain in his back, was in his pocket. Well, let's watch as the litigants tell their sides of this most unusual dispute to Judge Wapner.
I know that each of you has been sworn. I have read your complaint, sir. You claim the defendant caused your car to be seized at the border.
Yes, sir.
You had marijuana in his shirt.
Yes, sir.
When did this happen, sir?
June 3rd of this year.
Where was he sitting?
In the back of the vehicle, back seat.
It was your car, you were driving?
Yes.
Right. You were stopped there at the border?
Upon coming through the inspection area, they instructed me to pull over to the secondary inspection randomly they searched my vehicle and found in an article of clothing that Mr. Richardson was wearing 0.5 grams of marijuana.
0.5 grams. That's like the littlest of littlest buds. Dude had 0.5 grams on him. Toss that crap if you're going over the border. I mean, come on.
What was the item of clothing?
A shirt, I believe.
Did you have marijuana in the shirt?
Yes, sir.
That's what your car was confiscated?
0.5 grams is like the tiniest. I can't even, like, you wouldn't even fill a joint. Like, there's less than that in a cigarette. Like 0.5 grams is such a small amount. Yes, it's like the dandruff left over from rolling it. That's like nothing. Like, you could have literally like thrown that little thing on the floor and it would have been part of all of the dirt and dust from the bottom of your shoes. Oh my God.
It was seized by U.S. Customs.
What's your defense to this, sir?
Well, you see, I was not wearing the shirt. His girlfriend asked to wrap up her unicorn, so I handed it to her. I did not know I had it in the shirt at the time because they invited me to Mexico and stuff. So I just went home, put on a pair of shoes and stuff, and grabbed my shirt and jacket and ran out.
Do you normally keep marijuana in your shirt?
I've got a bad back. I got 2 ruptured discs and a bad leg. And
what's that got to do with it?
well, it relaxes me. It relaxes my muscles. And I've been addicted to it for many years, but it's just, I've been smoking for quite a few years, and I've got bad nerves and I've got a bad back, and it helps me sleep at night.
You don't justify yourself, buddy. I get it. I have a lot of experience with marijuana cases. Or a marijuana case. This poor guy. But man, in 91, that's bold. No, there were no legal states in 91. There was the federal government program, but there was only like 10 patients on it. So he's going into Whopper's courtroom talking about how he likes to smoke weed in 1991. Good luck, my friend.
Probably going to be a little bit poorer, too, when you leave this room.
Yeah. I have here receipts for...
Let me see what it cost you.
The receipts for the $700 of buying my vehicle back from the U.S. Customs and the $91.05 for the towing and daily storage fees of the vehicle.
Well, there's just nothing to this case. It's just like, there's no defense. It's your marijuana. That's why his car was confiscated, sir. He didn't ask you to bring marijuana, did he?
No, he didn't.
You didn't know he had marijuana?
No, sir, I did not.
You didn't tell him you had marijuana in your shirt?
I didn't know I had it in that particular shirt.
You keep it in different shirts? Is that how you keep it?
No, I did. The night before, I forgot about having it inside my shirt.
Okay. Judgment for plaintiff for 791.05.
Doug Llewellyn.
Yeah, dude, why did you go to court with this? Like, you're in the car with your buddy, you had pot on you, you're at the border, his car gets impounded. Like, dude, pay up. Why would you go to court over this? He didn't even have to, like, go, like, mull it over. He was like, yeah, judgment for plaintiff. Exactly. You gotta pay your friend, my guy. Like, seriously. That was in less than 4 minutes. Let's see what Doug Llewellyn has to say.
Talks to the litigants right after the People's Court continues from Los Angeles in just a moment.
Plaintiff, Mr. Richardson, the defendant's coming out of the courtroom. I must say, Mr. Richardson, this seemed almost like an open and shut case. Is that the way you've seen this?
Well, it's judge's fair and stuff, and I did not know I had it in the shirt at the time, so
Well, let me then ask you another question. Obviously, I mean, marijuana, it's still illegal to have it, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any legal grounds to have marijuana in your possession?
No, I do not, but I know that I've had a bad back for 4 years, and it's better than taking pills for the rest of my life.
Amen, my friend. Hey, you know, if the show pays out the money on these judgments, then maybe it was just a scheme by these two guys to be like, hey, how can we get some money for all of this and get someone else to pay for all of this? And they just were like, let's go on the show. Maybe they were just genius and they were just like, you know, let's take one. The guy's like, I'm gonna take one for the team. I'm gonna go in there and be like, yeah, I smoke pot, and whatever the judgment is, the show will pay for it.
What can I do?
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Officer Burrell's waiting for you to sign a few documents in the bag.
Well done.
The plaintiff, Mr. Thompson's on his way out of the courtroom. What about your friendship with this gentleman?
Well, that's kind of on shaky grounds right now.
Okay. Well, I hope you work it out. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Officer Burrell is waiting for you.
Doug doesn't even know what to say. He's like, all right, my friend. $2 from Chow Young Cat. $800 in 1980 is worth $3,104 today. Oh, man. I'm telling you. Over a half a gram. Over a crumb. Oh my God, this is fantastic. All right, last case, and then we'll move on to That's Incredible. Here's a case over a slice of pizza.
You displayed at the restaurant indicated that both thin and thick slices of pizza were available. The defendant states that the plaintiff caused such a commotion during the incident, including summoning the police, that her restaurant actually lost business.
How much was that in street value? What is the street value of that much weed? I mean, in today's dollars, I mean, you can get a $20 gram out of a dispensary, so a half gram could be $10. Back then, it would have been like $1, you know. All right, here we go. The $3 case over a slice of pizza. I'm excited.
So let's watch now as Judge Wapner hears the testimony in this spicy dispute.
I know you've been sworn, sir. I have read your complaint. You're asking for a refund of some money you paid for a pizza. You claim you didn't get the right kind of pizza?
Yes, I am.
All right. What did you order?
I ordered a thick chicken pizza slice.
Thick. Okay. What did you get?
What was handed to me was a thin pizza chicken slice, which I did not take.
Hold on. So he ordered a thick slice of pizza and he got a thin slice instead? Have I ever watched Weeds? Yes, I have. I watched it when it was on Showtime, actually. That was the first couple seasons were really, really good, but after that it kind of went downhill. But joints were $2 in 1983. Yeah, so like a half gram would be like $1, if that. Like you could get some change, like 50 cents out of your change, out of your change bucket in your car for half of a gram. I can't wait to hear how this pizza case turns out.
Did not take?
Which I didn't know. I refused to take it. Receive it, in other words.
Had you already paid for it in advance?
I paid for a thick chicken pizza slice.
I understand, but you paid in advance before you got it.
Yes.
All right. Was there a menu there that indicated they had?
The menu was on the marquee board, which is located just right outside the establishment on the boardwalk. And it stated as being $3 for a thick chicken pizza slice.
I gotta be honest, this guy looks really creepy. like if I saw him walking near me, like I would cross the street, right? Like he's kind of a creepy guy.
$3.
Yes.
How much? And you paid?
I paid a total of $3.73.
$3.73.
Yes. There is no price on the cookie, so I presume that the cookie was around 73 cents, as the total was $3.73.
But you're suing for $2.48.
Well, That was subtracting $1.25 of the cookie, which I did accept.
Who'd you order from? Any of these people that are here?
From the cashier, the young man that's next to the owner.
You were there?
Yeah, I was.
Did he order a thick slice of pizza?
Yeah, but we told him we
Wait a
could
minute.
have-
Yes.
He did.
Yes, he did.
And what did you tell him?
We told him that we do not have.
No,
any-
I want to talk about
I
you.
told him
Yeah.
that there's no thick pizza today, and he agreed, and he ordered a thin piece.
Why do you think that he was asking for his money back then? When he got the thin pizza, did he ask for his money back?
Yeah,
What did you tell him then?
I handed him over to my mother because I can't do anything about it.
Okay. Did you then have a discussion with the plaintiff then?
Yes, Your Honor. I came over and I talked to him and said, what seems to be the problem here? And he told me that he had ordered a thick slice, and I said, well, we don't have thick crust today. And my son had already told him in advance, there's no thick.
Well, did you hear your son say that?
My son has told all the customers.
No,
that,
ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, I asked you specifically, did you hear your son when he had this conversation with the plaintiff?
For this particular slice?
Yes.
No, I didn't hear this particular conversation.
What's the cost of a thick
The
slice?
thick and the thin slices, Your Honor, are the same price.
Same price?
$3, yes. Therefore, we served him the very finest quality pizza, which I brought with me today as an example to show you what we served him. I would like to show you a piece of the pizza.
Well, you can show me. I don't
may.
think it makes much difference. There is a difference between thick and thin slice, isn't there?
Very little difference in the crust. But we served him a beautiful slice of pizza, which he immediately refused and immediately said, I'm going to take you to court and sue you because I work for a law firm. It won't cost me anything. And I was absolutely shocked.
Did you tell her that?
No, I did. I explained to her that I did work for a law firm and that I would take her to court.
As a lawyer?
No, as a court messenger.
When this man ordered his pizza, that chicken was cut specifically for him, for that one slice. It was made, it was given to him, and it was fresh, and it was beautiful. And he didn't even, he just immediately started in about, I'm going to take you to court, and I want my money. And I said, well, I'm sorry. I would be happy to give anyone their money back if I would ever serve something that wasn't, suitable or high quality. If you could find something wrong, I'd be happy to. But it's like when you go and order a custom-made suit, and the person has their time and labor and materials into it.
This is hilarious. Again, they're going to wait. So if there's a $5,000 fund for each case, so somebody gets the $3 and then they get to split the $4,997 for appearing on the show. I mean, no more orange lighter. Yeah, I got the orange lighter. I'm holding this is my purple vape, but I have an orange lighter right now. Should have called David Horowitz. You have my munchies? I have my munchies already? No, I haven't. I got dental work done yesterday, which is why my face is so swollen down here, and I got a pain down here in the bottom, and I'm gonna have to go back. So I haven't been really eating much the last couple of days. So no munchies I got my munchie. I would have the munchies all the time in college when I would smoke, but now I don't really get the munchies like I used to. I had dinner earlier, but anyway, let's find out how he rules.
What did you do with the pizza? Well, it's not the same as a custom-made
Well,
suit.
you know what I mean.
Did
We
anyone
have
else
money
eat this
invested.
pizza? Did anyone else eat the pizza?
No, he
What'd you do with it?
He summoned for the police, and he went from one window to another. He caused a huge commotion. He upset my customers. They were complaining because he was taking up my time. The register, he was taking up, the cashier's time. He kept going back and forth. He
Wouldn't it have been easier then to just give him this $2.48?
Well, it's the principle of the
Well, I
thing that,
appreciate that.
we have a business to run, and we have certain operating costs, and we put out, we took this boneless chicken breast and cut it up for him because that's what he ordered.
He did order a thick slice of pizza, correct?
Yes.
And you say you told him you didn't have thick slices that day.
Yes.
Excuse me, Your Honor, that's untrue. In fact, what he said was that after I explained to him that I wanted a thick order of chicken slice pizza and the cookie, he went back, he gave me the cookie, I paid for the amount of the two items, and then he went and made a request for the order, which I didn't hear exactly what he had said, but at no time did he tell me at the window that he had no thick slices.
Anyone else with you at the window?
Another person, but they're not here today because they have chicken pox.
Okay. Are you the pizza maker?
Mm-hmm.
You make both thick and thin slices of pizza at the restaurant?
We used to make thick, but we have.
So basically, it's just kid's word against the guy's word, right? This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. This man has problems.
Haven't made thick for a while because
Is it on a menu or was it on the
we took
board?
it off the menu.
Was it on the board outside?
Yeah, because the day he came there, we were still making it, but that day it wasn't made. We didn't have the thick yet.
But it was still on the board.
Right, but he wasn't. The reason that he must have been informed is because when everyone comes up to the window, if they order that, we have to tell them that there is no thick because obviously there's no thick to order. So, the only
When
thing
was the last time before that day that you made thick?
Probably like a week before that, yeah.
Okay. Sir, you have something you want to tell me?
I'm just the one that put the toppings on there. I do the toppings.
Okay. You put the toppings on both thick and thin?
Yes.
You remember the last time you made thick pizza before that day?
No, I just started there about a couple weeks before then. They didn't have it there.
Okay. All right, we'll take a short recess. I'll come back and give you my...
Like he wears a U2 shirt to court. I'm the guy that puts the toppings on the pizza. Like they got 4 people on their side to testify.
Well, how do you think Judge Wapner will decide this dispute? Will
Well,
he find in favor?
What's going on is this man over here on the right side is suing the people over here on the left side. The people over here on the left own a pizza place, and the guy on the right went in and ordered a thick slice of chicken pizza, and they only had thin, and he wants his money back. That's what's happening. He's suing over a $3 slice of pizza.
Favor of the customer, or will it be the pizza maker? We'll be back to find out in just a moment.
Testimony paid $3 for the pizza. The rest was for a cookie, which he did accept, which he did eat. The plaintiff ordered what he considered to be he wanted a thick slice of this chicken pizza.
Thank you.
It was also on the board on the menu outside. Either the order taker didn't tell the plaintiff about the fact that they weren't making a thick slice of pizza, or the plaintiff didn't hear him say it. Because I can't imagine when the plaintiff gets this thin slice of pizza, if he in fact was told and heard it that there wasn't any thick pizza that day, why he wouldn't accept it. It wouldn't make any sense. He doesn't gain anything. All he wanted was his money back. He's not asking for a lawsuit to punish the defendant in any way or to get any more than what he considered to be the cost of the pizza. So it doesn't make any sense. So I believe that he ordered the thick pizza and he didn't get what he paid for. And therefore, he's entitled to a judgment for $3.
He got his refund.
So the plaintiff prevails. Judge Wapner awards the plaintiff $3. The defendant has just come out of the courtroom. I don't know. This is really something else. There is that old slogan about the customer is always right. You know that.
The customer's always
Was it worth going through all of this?
Well, they said that apparently there was a misunderstanding of who heard what, but the point is, the person was told that we didn't have it that day. That is the truth, and we told the truth, and that's all. We can say nothing more than the truth.
Okay. Is he welcome back in your establishment?
Well, sure, why not? I mean, we have the best pizza. Anyone is welcome.
I must say, it smells good. Thank you very much. Officer Burrell has a few documents for you to sign. We appreciate that. Now the plaintiff is on his way out of the courtroom. Mr. Hall, I really can't help but think that a lot of people hearing about this lawsuit would say, this is the most stupid thing I've ever heard. File a lawsuit over a $2 piece of pizza. And you had to go to a lot of trouble to do this. Why?
It's a matter of principle and legality. I felt that I was in the right. I wasn't rude. I'm a very serious person, especially when it comes to legal facts. And I did go to that pizza place because they are the best that I felt on the boardwalk, and I still feel that. They do make a good slice of pizza, and I had ordered the thick.
I think this is 1991, for those of you that are wondering.
Thank you very much. And so the plaintiff has prevailed, and that'll wrap it up for this slice of life case. So
All right, there we go. Yeah, he totally looks like Beavis with dark hair. That was amazing. Oh my god. All right, now we're gonna watch a clip of That's Incredible. Do you guys remember That's Incredible? Here's a little to jog your memory.
Tonight on
I loved John Davidson when I was younger. He was the host of the New Hollywood Squares for a minute, and he had a really hot son. My mom always thought John Davidson was a good-looking man. And then we got Fran Tarkenton here on the right, former quarterback for, I think, Minnesota, the Vikings. And then Kathy Lee Crosby in the middle.
We'll see you all next time on That's Incredible.
There's a one segment I want to show you. Yeah, we're going to do Ripley's Believe It or Not tonight. But this is from 1981. You guys know that Tiger Woods was on That's Incredible when he was 5? Oh! Chow Young Cat, $2. $3 in 1991 is worth $7.04 today. Hey. I mean, the man got his money back. I really wonder, though, if they honored the whole $5,000 budget thing with this $3 judgment. I wonder if they really split $4,997. Yeah, he was on Mike Douglas when he was 2 and 78. We'll show it. Yeah, I can show that too, but we're gonna show. We're gonna show the That's Incredible one first. I'm gonna get into golf now. Like, this is really interesting. Imagine getting dunked on by a 5-year-old in golf. Hey, if it's Tiger, I mean, you know, let's watch his swing. What kind of swing did he have at 5? We'll watch him on when he was 2 as well. But we'll watch this first. Dad cut a putter down for his little baby kid. That's amazing. He did what now? Holy crap! The kid has some skills. How he lapped the field of the 97 Masters, the age of 21, is still one of the most impressive sports feat I've seen. Agreed. I'll never forget it because I had the worst flu of my life that week. I was in college. I was at the University of Kansas, and I was so sick, I couldn't even leave my friend's house. I had to lay on her couch for 3 days. And I watched the Masters while I was trying to recover. I'll never forget it. But yeah, it was incredible to watch. Do I golf? I do not. It was a win for the ages. I do not personally. I enjoy golf. My brother's a golfer. He's actually about to start a golf channel here on YouTube, but not like a pro thing. Like, just it's centered around golf and his golf game and just, you know, talking about stuff and life and all that stuff. But I do love golf. When my first job on television, when I was a sports reporter, one of my beats would be to cover the local golf tournaments that were coming through town. And so I would be able to, I got paid to like go out to these golf tournaments, get in a golf cart and just drive around and film the holes and everything. And it was so much fun. I really enjoy golf. Sorry, we'll watch Tiger.
Entered category.
Yes, my cartoon stream guest was my brother, and he's the one that's going to start the golf channel. He's putting it all together right now. He hasn't uploaded yet or put it on, like he's getting ready to launch it. So I'll let you guys know when he does, because you'd love filming holes. Brad, get your mind out of the gutter. But I see what you did there. But yeah, my brother, it's my cartoon string guest. I'm telling you, it's gonna be fun. He cracks me up. He's really funny. It'll probably be like a little bit of weed talk while he's playing golf, maybe guns and hunting and military. I don't know. My brother is a very cool guy. Whatever he has in his head, I'm sure it's gonna be good. He's my best friend though, so I'm a little biased. Mustache game is strong, first of all. Second of all, I can't get over how good Tiger Woods is at 5 years old. He wasn't wrong. Holy crap. They're playing kindergarten music because he's 5. The mustache guy, did he just lose a lawsuit over $500,000? I think so. Let's see here. Now we'll see when he's 2 years old. This is him at 2. This is just 30 seconds long.
So right now, I'd like you to meet Tiger Woods and his father, Earl Woods. Come on. Get that other ball. Good boy, Earl. How old are you, Tiger?
Daddy.
2. 2?
He's so little. So tiny. Stoneball golfing. That's not bad. I think he originally his the channel name he came up with was Forethoughts, spelled F-O-R-E, Forethoughts. But I don't know if he's going to go with that or not. Stonewall Golfing isn't bad. You like the later streams? I don't know. Maybe, I can do later streams. The 7 o'clock was always just kind of an arbitrary time. I'd like to be kind of consistent, but it doesn't really matter. Sunday night stream, if there is, it will be the A-Team watch party for members, the pilot episode. And the pilot's actually 2 episodes. So I'm going to try to get that ready. I will let you know in the community tab tomorrow if it's going to be there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I'm going to try. My tooth is really hurt. Not my tooth. My whatever. I got my implants this week, and I've got and they retrofitted my bottom denture, so now it snaps into my my implants, and it's like the final stage of the bottom here, and I don't know what happened, but my tongue and the over here on the bottom right gum is just not happy about it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to work this weekend or not. Might need to go make an emergency dentist visit. But again, I will let you know about Sunday night tomorrow in the community tab. So each looking out for that. Do it on my time? I might. We shall see. I see what you did there. I don't need implants anywhere else, I'm telling you that. If anything, I need reductions. Oh, Lordy. Let's see here. Do I have a Discord server? Not yet. I'm considering doing that. I'm considering adding Discord and Patreon. But I'm just not there yet. Like, everything on this channel is just me. Like, I do everything on this channel. From the planning to the writing to the editing to the live streams to the graphics to the thumbnails to the I do 100% of everything on this channel, and I'm still very new, and I'm trying to grow it and do the things that are gonna grow the channel and kind of set up what I want to do with this. But I'm still learning about all this stuff, so it's gonna take me a second to. I've only been doing this channel for I've just hit 18 months, so Oh, thank you, Gemini. Did I read 50 Shades? No. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Did I read 50 Shades? God, no. What was it I was reading the other day that it was the result of fan fiction for something? Oh, God. All I have to say is if that guy wouldn't have been a billionaire, she wouldn't have been into him. If that guy was, flipping burgers at McDonald's, she'd have ran. It was only cool because he had billions of dollars. That's stupid. Romance album with Bobby on the cover? Nah. I don't do fiction. I'm a reader, but I prefer nonfiction mostly. Like I just read a book called Last Call for Bud Light, and it was about the history of Anheuser-Busch because I'm from, Missouri and near St. Louis, and it's just a big part of our state's culture here and history. And it was just a really interesting story about the history of Anheuser-Busch, how it was built and to how big it became, and then how it destroyed itself, basically. It was very, very, very good. Highly recommend it. Last Call for Bud Light. Let's see here. All right. Let's do some Ripley's Believe It or Not. Let me bring that up.
For years.
This is an episode from December of 1982. Hosted by Jack Palance, of course.
For years of cruel isolation, with his face hidden, even from his guards. They were also told to kill him on the spot if he so much as uttered a single word about his past. Who imprisoned him, and why? Some answers to those questions provided the basic plot for the classic tale by Alexander Dumas, The Man in the Iron Mask. It was a fascinating work of fiction, but it was based on an even more astounding fact. There was a real man imprisoned behind a real mask, and we'll attempt to reveal the face lurking behind it as we begin our exploration of the strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. Join an expedition to rescue a fabled treasure of Egypt.
Good night, Ted. Thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it. Glad you had a good time. My VHS tape channel. Oh, for those of you that don't know, I have a second channel called Natalie's VHS Vault. I haven't touched it in a couple of years, pretty much. But I just got a new VCR, and I got, yes, a new VCR. That's what I said, a VCR. And so I've saved all my tapes from the 80s and 90s, and I've lugged them around the country with every move. And so this channel is that I started that channel a few years ago just to transfer all the stuff that was on my VHS tapes onto some digital type format so I could save it and have it. And so it's not like a channel I do anything on except for post the videotapes for my boxes of tapes. So yes, the long answer to that is yes, I'm going to continue it. I just got to get everything set up and connect my VCR with my Elgato video capture card. So there you go. I will get with it here in the next month or so. I'll start posting again. I just gotta find tapes to pull up and do it all. Save it for the retirement mall. So we can watch them together in the courtyard. Exactly. Did I throw it out of my hand? No. It's still here. I haven't lit it yet.
Pay what could be a last visit to view the Last Supper, now in danger of destruction. Take flight on the wings of a falcon as it seeks out its prey. Explore the icy waters of the South Atlantic as a marauding sea lion creates panic in a colony of penguins. Tour a miniature city in Denmark and take a close look as patient artistry transforms matchsticks into masterpieces. Witness the tense moment when a diamond in the rough is transformed into $1 million jewel or shattered into fragments. See the art of ancient cavemen before it is lost forever. The strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. These are the kinds of subjects a man named Robert L. Ripley challenged us to believe it or not. A mask of iron forged during the reign of Louis XIV.
Have any of you ever been to a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum? I went to the one that's down in Florida. I'm thinking Orlando. It had to be Orlando. And it's like a wonky building. It looks really cool. I don't know if they still have, I don't know if they're still around, but we used to go down to Florida every year for family vacation. And we go to different parts of Florida every year. And I think that was the year we were in Orlando that we went to that, which would have been 89. There's one in Wisconsin Dells, Myrtle Beach, Vegas. Okay, right on.
Was the dramatic centerpiece of a...
It was Leonardo DiCaprio. I actually forgot that Richard Chamberlain made the Man in the Iron Mask before the DiCaprio version. So this is great. R.I.P. Richard Chamberlain. The original Ripley had a black and white show, I think, back in the 50s. I think. Which is what they showed at the very beginning when the guy that said Believe It or Not.
In Dumas' classic novel, the unfortunate hero...
I mean, I was 19 and 20 and 21 when I was doing the news, so if you think I look the same, well, God bless you. That was 30 years ago almost.
...doomed to live within a mask of iron. And in the book, as well as the film,
30s and 40s, okay.
the hero finally escapes. In reality, however, there was no happy ending. The actual hero did not survive his imprisonment, and the mask was not of iron, but of velvet.
Really?
The year was 1669. Operating under secret orders issued by the king, a certain Captain Saint-Maur was placed in charge of a man whose identity was to be as carefully guarded as his person.
Jonathan Frakes had the show Fact or Fiction, right? Where they would tell you stories, and you had to decide if they were true or false, fact or fiction. The Thornbirds was my favorite miniseries of the 80s, which I talked about in my 1980s miniseries video. I didn't go to bed. I watched it with Mama, but not the original run in 83 because, yes, I was too young. They ran it again in like 86 or 87, and I'm 88, somewhere in there, and I watched it with my mom then. And I still have it on VHS box set to this day. I still have my Thornbirds box set. It's like my mom and I's like favorite thing together that we've ever watched. Okay, I'm sorry. Back to Man in the Iron Mask.
Although sealed into a velvet mask, the
He was number 2 on my list. Thornbirds was number 1, but B was great too.
prisoner was not to be mistreated. The captain was authorized to kill him instantly if the stranger spoke his name or attempted to reveal his face. The king's orders were followed to the letter, and a lifetime of anonymous imprisonment began for the man in the velvet mask. Those are the bare bones of the story.
Of far more interest are the reasons behind the man's strange incarceration. Among the various theories advanced, the most astonishing is that the mysterious man in the velvet mask may have been the true father of King Louis XIV of France.
King Louis XIII, it seems, was incapable of producing an heir. To assure royal continuity through Queen Anne, some say courtiers arranged for a child to be sired by the masked stranger.
So, to keep the secret safe, he was supposedly dispatched to the French colony of Canada in hopes he would be forgotten. But when Louis XIV succeeded to the throne, the man decided to return to France. As father of the king, he assumed that great wealth and the glitter of court life at Versailles would be rightfully his. He expected a royal welcome from his son. Instead, he found oblivion.
It was said his resemblance to the king was uncanny. And for this reason...
So it was supposed to be his father, not his twin brother? Wow. And his resemblance was uncanny.
Alone, his face was never to be seen. His last years were spent in the Bastille, where he died in 1703. He remained a mystery to the end. His body was buried under a false name, and his occupation given as valet. But was he the father of a king? No one will ever know.
Well, there you go. That's the story of the man in the iron mask through Ripley's Believe It or Not. For those of you talking about it, I can't play this very much because the Oscar is going to be up in my business. But I'll show you the moment that he actually dropped into the push-ups when he won Best Supporting Actor.
One of my favorite Oscar moments is Jack Palance. When he came out, he did the push-up.
You go out there and you do these.
On stage at the Oscars, he was like 80. Oh, that's it. All right, yeah. That was good. Yep, one arm. Crystal Waters, you naughty. Let's do I wanted to do a little bit of Unsolved Mysteries, like the OGs from when they were miniseries before it was a show, or at least the very first season with Stack. These are all free on YouTube and in the United States. I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to like play them all, but I gotta find something good. We'll watch the very, very first episode. We'll watch a little bit of it. Everybody don't get scared. Just so you know, all of the Robert Stack episodes are free on YouTube in the United States. You can see them here. Like right here, there's a whole playlist. It's on the Unsolved Mysteries channel. So here's all of season 1 if you guys are interested in watching them. Oh, there it is. Iconic. You may be able to help solve a mystery. When these were originally on, they were specials. They weren't a weekly show. They would come on like 2 or 3 times a year, usually during sweeps. And like I remember it was an event in my house. Like Mom would make dinner, like something special, and we would all sit around the TV and watch the special of Unsolved Mysteries before it became a TV show. It was really fun. Within an hour, she was dead. Was this one of the first shows to do like these reenactments of things, of like real life crimes or whatever? I'm trying to think of other of other shows that did the whole TV show first aired in '88. I'm telling you, it came out as specials. Hold on. When did the first Unsolved Mysteries special air on NBC? January 20th, 1987. When the host was Raymond Burr. Yeah, I knew they had a different host. And then it came on as a weekly show with Robert Stack when it was made into a TV show. I mean, man, especially back then, before you had any way to like check on people, like do any kind of a background check or figure out, you know, like you were just totally gambling about somebody when you met them and married them. Like you had no idea. Gee, DNA was even a thing. If it was in its early days. I don't remember DNA like being a thing in court cases until like the mid to late 90s. I mean, not that it didn't come earlier, but geez. Waiting for the update. This is the old school style of update. Life without parole. It was on Forensic Files. All right. Yeah, maybe I've just seen it on another show like that. Yeah. Oh. After serving 25 years, he died in a prison hospital. All right. We can't. Are we going to watch this whole episode? I guess we can watch this whole episode. Actually, we're going to watch one more story, and then if you guys want to watch it on your own, you can. Like I said, this is free on YouTube. Season 1, Episode 1 is what I've pulled up. We'll watch one more, and then I'm going to call it a night. Good night, Lou. Here, and then we'll call it a night. And don't forget, Tuesday we'll continue our tier list of 80s TV theme songs. And I've got to change Perfect Strangers and move it up the list because nobody liked it. I thought it was okay. It was the first one, so I was a little harsh on it. So I got to work on that. I don't know if I'm going to be doing an 18 Sunday night yet. I'll let you all know in the community chat or the community page tomorrow. Got to get this dental situation worked out because it hurts. We can end the night with the theme to Soul Train. I'll do that for you. Sounds like it. 321 Contact, my very first video that I made called You Don't Remember These Shows Unless You're Gen X, featured 321 Contact. And I played the entire theme song because it's such a banger, or it slaps, or whatever it is the kids say these days. It was a good one. Eileen Conway. All right, let's find out. Let's see here. This is from Unsolved Mysteries Wiki. It looks like the case remained unsolved. Sadly, on August 20th, 2013, Pat passed away at the age of 81 without ever learning the true circumstances behind Eileen's death. In 2018, their son Fred passed away at the age of 56. A reward is still being offered for information leading to a conviction in the case. Well, that's so sad. I don't want to end this stream on something so sad. Good thing we're going to listen to some Soul Train. The Soul Train. They had a bunch of different different theme and introductions, didn't they? Oh yeah, here we go. Here's a a collection of 1971. We'll do a few of them. Oh, that's like a real song. I gotta be careful on that one. This is a good one. Yeah, we had to go back to the 70s for a little bit. No, I have not seen Beetlejuice. I heard it wasn't worth it to watch it. So I'm just going to stick with the OG and be happy there.
Soul Train, the hippest trip in America. 60 non-stop minutes across the tracks of your mind into the exciting
60 non-stop minutes across the tracks of your mind. Woo! Yeah!
world of soul with special guest stars, the world-famous Jackson 5.
I can wake up and dance, right? I wish I could play them, I swear. But after my Tuesday live stream where I played all those TV theme songs, I got copyright claimed so hard on that. Like every single TV theme song got copyright claimed. These songs are 40 and 50 years old. And they're like, copyright claim. NBC Universal's like, no, we want that. We want the $0 you are making from those live streams. People on this show were so stylish. Like, so many people look so good.
Soul Train, the hippest trip in America. 60 non-stop minutes across the tracks of your mind into the exciting world of soul with
Don Cornelius had a way with words, didn't he?
guest stars, the Emotions. Maze featuring Frankie Beverly and the Soul Train Dancer. And now, here is your host, Don Cornelius.
Hey there, and welcome aboard. You're right on time for another sweet ride on the Soul Train. You hold on to that spot you got. We'll be coming right back at you with a biggie by the Ohio Players, right up with some very important messages.
This is great. This show is so good. Peace, love, and soul. Yep. Get on, get on, get on, get on, get on, I'm sure there's scramble board clips on here. I'll play this a little bit longer. I'll find a scramble board clip. Woo! It is midnight here in where I'm at. Do you guys like these later live streams, or should I start earlier? You got the 7 o'clock one's better. Oops. Hold on. Wrong one.
People young and old, hey, what do you say? The hippies trip around
in your way. Come and get some soul. The train is alright. And don't you know the ride will be out of sight?
That was good stuff. I like that. Here's some scramble board.
And we'd like you to meet two of our Soul Train dancers. Hi.
Hi, Cheryl Song.
Cheryl Song and
Dane Dutcher.
And Cheryl, you were just asking me, would you win some Afro Sheen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You think that's funny, huh?
So win some Afro Sheen. That's amazing, A. B, it looks like you guys like the later start time. Really? Okay. Okay. Well, maybe I'll move the Friday stream to 9 o'clock. Do like Tuesdays, do the Tuesday stream at 7 and then do the Friday stream at 9. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. You like the later time? Especially on Friday nights, right? Like, we're not all going out to the bars anymore on Friday nights. Gotta hang out with the friends.
I can use it.
You both have 60 seconds to correctly unscramble the name of the famous recording star or group of recording stars on the board. Okay, you two go to work on that. We'll go to work on this. Johnny Guitar Watson says, girl, I need it.
Loving you can seem to me. It's everything that it should be. Loving you the way I do. Should be crystal clear to you. You got a thing.
I can hardly see the letters here. We got an H, an R, an L, a Y, an E, A, S, O, H. Oh, that's a tough one. Oh, the Ohio players.
Even the blind could see something you got. Can't beat it. Oh, well, girl, I need that thing, girl, I need that thing.
Well done, everybody. Oh, let's see. We'll pull up the 3-2-1 Contact song real fast because now I want to listen to it after we talked about it.
The secret is the moment when everything happens. Contact is the answer.
This is a great way to end the night, right?
The reason that everything happens. Contact. Let's make contact.
Oh my God, should we have a sleepover one night and just like stream all night long? All right. Whew. I'm going to cut it right there, guys. I'm super tired. It's past midnight. It's been a long day. But I kind of like the idea of having a slumber party live stream. You'll call off work for a sleepover? An all-night stream? All right. I'll figure out a night that we can do that. Because that'll be fun. Everybody, thank you so very, very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Keep an eye on my community page on the channel. I'll let you know what's happening on Sunday night for members. So I want to start the watch with me with A-Team. I'm going to give it my best shot, but I might have to push it till next Sunday. And then Dallas will start on Thursday. So if you want to watch Dallas with me or the A-Team, become a member at the I've Got 5 on it level. I'll do a live watch with me, and I'll be in the comments talking with you guys while I'm watching it. So, alrighty. Everybody have a great night. Oh, if you're looking out for my next video, I'm working on it this weekend. Hopefully I can have it out soon. It's a good one. I'm really excited for this one. So, anyways, all have a great night. Thank you so much. I will see you on Tuesday for sure. Maybe Sunday. We'll see what happens. Everybody have a great weekend. Okay, bye.